Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brad Walter, and today we're going to be talking about one of our flight scenarios where you're a private pilot with a multi-engine rating and you're trying to fly your family out to see your mother-in-law from the New England area out to the Midwest. I hope you all enjoy the PowerPoint. For the flight that you're planning on taking, I just took kind of some liberties to give the destination airport and the departure airport. So KBGM is Binghamton Regional Airport in upstate New York. That's right around where I'm from. So I just chose that one as a starting point, and then KGCK is Garden City Regional Airport. And it doesn't really say in the scenario whether you're going to be flying day, night, or both. I'm going to assume that you're going to take the safest route possible and just do the whole flight during the day. It's about 1,164 nautical miles, so with a twin engine you should be able to easily accomplish that, not having to wake up too early and getting the flight completed prior to the sun setting. You're a private pilot with multi-engine rating, trying to fly your family out to see your mother-in-law. The PAVE checklist is a great way to go over everything for your, well, not everything, but a lot of key points for your flight that you're getting ready to take. For the P in the PAVE checklist, that's the pilot. Are you current? Are you proficient? Set in the scenario that you were trying to get checked out in a plane that you just bought. So I'm assuming that means that you're going to get your required landings. Just to be safe, I would do all your landings to a full stop. That way, in the event that you do go into the nighttime hours, you're legal to be flying around with your passengers on board. You can also use for yourself the I'm Safe checklist, just to give yourself a once over, make sure there's nothing you're missing that is going on with you that should make you question whether you're doing this flight or not. Is the aircraft legal? You just purchased the aircraft and you're getting checked out in it. So I'm thinking you went through the Aero checklist, made sure all the documentation for the aircraft is done, all the inspections are current, and obviously do a very thorough pre-flight before you load your family into the plane and take off and head that direction. What does the weather look like for the V for environment in the PAVE checklist? Obviously, you're going to want to get a really good weather briefing. You're flying a good distance, so it's going to cover a large area. Make sure there's no fronts coming through that's going to put you in nasty weather. Just make sure everything looks good. It doesn't say how much experience your family has with flying, so if they don't have much, it could be good to try and avoid clouds so it's not too rough and doesn't get anyone sick on the route of flight and make you have to land at an unexpected airport or something like that. As far as external pressures for the E in the PAVE checklist on this scenario, the biggest external pressure that I see is just wanting to get the flight completed. You have a plan that you want to go see your mother-in-law. I'm assuming your family is excited about it, or maybe something's going on with your mother-in-law that you need to go there and take care of her. So that's the biggest pressure, is just getting that flight completed for your family. Just keep in the back of your mind that there's always alternatives. You could take a commercial flight, you could drive, so don't let that pressure sway you too much. SRM, or single pilot resource management, is going to play a huge role in this flight scenario. You do have multiple people on board, but they are, from the scenario that I can gather, not pilots. So you are going to be the sole pilot in command, manipulator of the controls, responsible for radios, safety of flight, everything with that multi-engine aircraft. So another thing that you definitely need to make sure you do is a really good passenger brief. So brief them on radio procedures, give them a hand signal or something if you hear something on the radio and they're talking, to get them to quiet. Brief them on looking out for traffic, any safety procedures, being able to exit the aircraft efficiently in the event that you do have some sort of emergency going on, and Just make sure they know everything that they need to know to keep themselves and you safe during your flight. Employ them as well. Have them help you out with checklists if they need to. Have them help you out looking for traffic and any other thing that you can think of to just assist you along your route. But just keep in mind that you are the single pilot in command, responsible for the aircraft and everyone in it. Another key thing for this flight, and any flight for that matter, is having a continuous risk management thought process going through your head. Always be thinking about potential risks throughout your flight so you can identify them, assess them, and then decide whether you're going to be able to mitigate or eliminate that risk altogether, or if you just need to minimize it through implementing controls, and then constantly be evaluating that. Hey, did the control that I implement minimize my risk to an acceptable level? And just keep that thought in your mind that you shouldn't accept any unnecessary risk. There's always going to be risk involved with flying. Just be sure to not accept any unnecessary risks along the way. Just always be thinking of potential risks, whether it be weather or someone on your flight getting sick, or traffic, or any of the above. Make sure you're always thinking about it, identifying it, and then using the proper pathway to minimize it and figure out whether it's an acceptable risk or not. Being a private pilot, especially with a multi-engine rating, gives you some great opportunities, some great freedoms to be able to fly to destinations instead of having to drive or rely on a commercial plane ticket. You can save a ton of time by flying and just being able to go right to the airport close to you where your plane's parked and take off from there, go to your destination, not have to worry about waiting on TSA in an airport or driving 1,100 miles. Just be sure that with that privilege comes great responsibility. You're responsible for the aircraft, safety of it, safety of yourself, and the safety of all your passengers, as well as everything underneath you along the way. So just make sure you're taking all the proper measures to ensure that you have the safest and funnest flight experience you possibly can. And these are the references that I pulled from to put this presentation together. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks.